Well, welcome to the Right Hook. Hello there, everybody. Happy Friday to you, TGIF. We are that much closer to the weekend. It's good to be with you. Steve Hook here, and I'm thrilled to have you. We got a big show today, a lot to talk about. Not that that's any shocker. Um, I want to talk about, to start things off here, I want to talk about what the left, the bat crap crazy left has been doing. We talked about this a little bit. We've touched on burning the Teslas and going after these dealerships and whatnot. They are now being arrested in record numbers. I think the latest was about a 400-pound dude riding one of those little get-around carts because he's so fat that his legs can't carry him. So he rides one of those little carts. He was videotaped at a Tesla dealership. I want to say it was in Texas. Could be wrong, but I think it was Texas, where it may have been Vegas now that I think about it, where he was, oh no, Vegas was where they firebombed the Teslas. Oh, well, wherever it was, just another Tesla dealership under attack. And this rather rotund man in his little get-around cart was slamming into these Teslas. He damaged 3 of them badly. He has since been arrested. Arrests are mounting up. You see, the problem with to paraphrase the great Ronald Reagan here, the problem with our liberal friends is a lot of them are very, very stupid. Tesla, folks, has multiple cameras on at all time, each individual car. It's called Sentry Mode. And if you've ever been in a Tesla or driven a Tesla, you know this. A lot of these people don't have them, never have had them, although they, once upon a time, they told all of us that we should buy them. And now they're going out of their way to destroy them. And they're getting arrested for it in record numbers. So that's good. That's a good way to start the program. People that are keying cars are being arrested. This rotund dude on his little get-around cart, he has been arrested. The guy in that, I just mentioned the Vegas Tesla dealership, where he destroyed 3 Teslas and he damaged quite a few others, not to mention spray-painted resist all over the entranceway to that Tesla dealership. He has been arrested. And these guys are looking at serious time. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. This is going to be very serious felony charges brought against all of these folks. And I hope that all of them do some serious time. If you key a car, well, we'll see you in several years. You're going to prison. That's what they should do. Now, the reason they're doing this is because they've been ginned up to hate Elon Musk. They've been ginned up to hate Elon Musk because he is doing what exactly? Well, according to them, he's trying to rob Social Security. According to them, he is trying to destroy Medicare. According to them, he is going to destroy Medicaid and all of these social welfare programs that these leftists absolutely embrace. Now, of course, none of this is true, but leftists don't need a cause, or they don't need truth, rather, to legitimize their attacks. All they need is some kind of confirmation bias media spin, and that's all they need to go out there and burn Teslas. And hell, I saw a video floating around on X yesterday of a guy that pulled up next to a fella in a Tesla with his young daughter and started flipping him off and screaming at him. And then without looking, he took a quick right turn and he knocked a little girl off her bike. So these people are absolutely bat crap crazy. And the sooner they're off the streets, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Everything that they say, now this is very important to understand. Everything that they say about Elon Musk is a lie. All of it. Now, I don't care what your opinion on Elon Musk is. Some people have problems with Elon Musk. I get it. But with regards to DOGE, I fully support everything he's been about. So yesterday he sat down with Bret Baier, and not just him either, some of the DOGE dudes. And they're not, as the media would have you believe, they're all a bunch of 19 and 20-year-old computer geeks that just love the power that's been given to them. Well, that's not true. First of all, there are some young folks that are involved in DOGE, but most of the higher-ups that are involved in the Department of Government Efficiency are actually very wise guys that have been around for a while. The co-founder of Airbnb was on the Bret Baier show yesterday. A rocket scientist was another one. He from SpaceX. All of these people are very, very mature and thoughtful folks. And that interview with Bret Baier, I think we're going to be pulling from that for the next couple of weeks because it was. And by the way, part 2 airs tonight on FNC. So if you haven't watched it, if you didn't watch it yesterday, I would strongly encourage you to watch it and then share it. Share it with your liberal friends if you still have any. If they haven't canceled you in your friendship because you're not a Kamala Harris or a Joe Biden supporter. But watch it, because what Musk talks about and what these guys talk about is staggering. Staggering. Up to 40% of all Social Security claims are from fraudsters. 40%. That's a pretty good chunk of change. And yet the media won't talk about that. The media has gone in, and this is no shock. We knew this. We warned about it even before Trump took office, that the media is going to double and triple down on their agenda because they despise everything that Trump represents. And frankly, they despise all of Trump's supporters, which means that they literally despise half of the country, if not more than half of the country. And so they're spreading loads of lies about Elon Musk, loads of lies. Well, loads of lies about this Signal app that apparently Mike Waltz accidentally included Jeff Goldberg involved in. The Signal app, folks, is used by the government and has been used by the government since the Biden administration. In fact, it was the Biden administration that encouraged government workers to download that app and to use it because it's encrypted on both ends. So it's not Trump. I've even heard some liberals say the fact that they're doing this and hiding it behind Signal, they should be arrested just for that. Well, okay, if you're going to arrest them, you need to arrest pretty much the entire Beltway because they all use it. Congressmen use it, senators use it, people inside the administration use it. So it's a silly point, but in their desire to destroy Pete Hegseth, they will say whatever it takes. Democrat politicians have never been afraid of lying. In fact, it's their natural state. And what they're doing to Pete Hegseth is absolutely absurd. So anyway, getting back to Musk. Musk was on with Bret Baier, and it was really a very good interview because a whole lot of things were shared that many people don't know. I would just say this. If you're one of those people out there cheering on the downfall of Tesla and saying Musk is Hitler and Musk is a fascist, then let me just say this with no equivocation. You are a bloody moron if you believe that. You have got to be a special kind of stupid if you believe that. Here's a guy that is the richest man in the history of the planet Earth. He doesn't need this aggravation. He's doing it for nothing. He's not being paid for this. And he's doing it nonetheless. His car company has taken a major hit from it. He has to hire round-the-clock security because liberals are unhinged and want him dead. And yet people still believe the lies. And they believe the lies because they're told to believe the lies. And Musk even talked about that last night. So without further ado, let's go to, so I've got a few clips from this interview, and some of them are a little bit long, so I may pause them here and there. But here's Musk. He's responding to Bret Baier's question about the violence carried out against Tesla owners, Tesla dealerships, and just Tesla cars and trucks in general. Cut one, Annie, if we could.
Talking to those guys, and you have a great team from all over the country. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. You know, there's now been these many cases of violence and vandalism at Tesla dealerships. How does that affect your employees, your customers? What does it mean to you? Like, how have you taken that in?
Well, I think a great wrong is being done to the people of Tesla and to our customers. I mean, Tesla is a peaceful company that has made great cars, great products. That's all it's done. Hasn't harmed anyone. And yet people are committing violence. They're firebombing Tesla dealerships. They're shooting guns into stores. They're threatening people. They're issuing death threats against me and other Tesla personnel. What are they doing this for? Why? And what's happening, it seems to me, is they're being fed propaganda by the far left, and they believe it. It's really unfortunate. But the real problem is.
Oh, okay, there we go. I just wanted to get that. We're gonna go back to that clip. But did you hear what he just said there? They're being fed propaganda and they believe it. This is what I mean by confirmation bias. If you hate somebody or hate something, in this case, an inanimate object like an electric car, because of who, owns the company or founded the company, then you're not thinking from a rational point of view. You're thinking from an emotional perspective. And then the media gets on there and says, Tesla is acting more and more like a fascist. That's the green light. There it is. That means you have permission to go out and destroy people's Teslas. Now, of course, these same talking heads and these reporters will get on and say, well, nobody is actually encouraging this. This is foolish and it shouldn't be done. But by the way, it's important that we point out that Elon Musk is Hitler. And bam, here it goes again. So the media, by the way, knows exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing it, what is being done because of what they're saying. And that's why they're continuing to say it. Because while they may say in front of a camera that they don't encourage it, but when the cameras go off, they're saying, hell yeah, another 15 Teslas were destroyed today in Vegas or wherever. So the media is not only complicit in this, they're the match that lights the fuse, and they like being the match that lights the fuse. Let's continue with the clip.
It's not the people. It's not like the crazy guy that firebombs a Tesla dealership. It's the people pushing the propaganda that caused that guy to do it. Those are the real villains here, and we're going to go after them. And the president's made it clear, we're going to go after them. The ones providing the money, the ones pushing the lies and propaganda, we're going after them.
And it's been this evolution. I mean, the last administration was going to mandate electric vehicles, and now you see on the far left some efforts to go after electric vehicles. It's quite something.
It is ironic. I mean, it seems like the most ironic outcome is the most likely. But yeah, I mean,
personally, it's got to take a toll.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. I think there's some real evil out there, and we have to overcome it.
I mean, you have been called a Nazi, a white supremacist, a fascist.
I mean, they've got the sort of their
just to
normal
name
playbook.
a few. Yeah.
I mean, they've still got it. They haven't. I guess they still need to call me Stalin, Mussolini. Whatever, Genghis Khan or whatever. I mean, they've called the president all these things. I think at one point there was a magazine cover which said President Trump was worse than Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin combined. And the president hasn't killed anyone. He hasn't started any wars. In fact, he's good at stopping wars. So this is obviously they're pushing these lies. And why do they push these lies? And I think that we need to hold people responsible for pushing these lies, because those lies almost got the president killed.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what I mean. I mean, you could look at Thomas Crooks and the other guys that were involved in some of whatever the fellow's name that was in Florida that tried to take a shot at Trump and was caught. They were all fed this propaganda. And they all bought into it. So they all acted. So and who knows who else may have been involved with, especially the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania, in Butler, PA. There's a lot more to that story that has not been told. Here's a kid, 20-something years old, very young, multiple cell phones on him. Encrypted apps on his phone that is usually government type stuff. We've never gotten a rational explanation for why he had all this stuff and who he was in contact with. There's much more to the story. But the bottom line here with regard to these Tesla arsonists and vandals, as well as these assassination attempts, is that these people are emotionally unhinged. It used to be a joke. We used to joke about TDS. Trump derangement syndrome. It's now very real. It's very evident that these people, well, I would say they have a screw loose, but every screw is loose. They're just unhinged fools. And anything that's going to confirm their particular bias is good enough for them to act on it, whether it's taking a shot at President Donald Trump or whether it's burning down several Teslas. It's all, to them, the ends justify the means. Yes, it's a Marxist meme, but it's true. To them, it's worth it because they're doing what they believe to be the greater good. Now, of course, they're clowns. Bret Baier makes a good point. Just several years ago, everybody was saying we should have electric cars. Hell, the Biden administration threatened to mandate it before that got dumped. But that's what they wanted to do. And now that Elon Musk has dared join the Trump administration, even though it's on only a temporary basis, he's not going to be there for very long. But that's all that they needed to fuel the fire of we want to kill we want to destroy all Teslas and destroy dealerships and all this. And it's so pathetically weak on their part. They are emotionally and intellectually stunted. And I don't have any respect for any of them. And I can say that because for a long time, I was stupid enough to believe Democrats as well. Okay. So I was in that camp. I was never a screaming leftist, but I bought into all of the, oh, we're doing this to protect the environment. Republicans don't care. That's, of course, my eyes were opened and I realized that it's all garbage. But these people don't want their eyes to be opened. They don't want to know the truth, because if they knew the truth, then they would have to come to grips with the fact that maybe, just maybe, their entire ideology is BS. And it is. It's no wonder that the same people that are burning Teslas also are supporting Hamas. It's no wonder that the people that support Hamas also support the death or the arrest or the overthrow of President Donald Trump. These people are bizarre. Every single thing they believe in is wrong, but they are so convinced of their righteousness that they see assassination or vandalism and destruction of private property. They see that as perfectly within the realm of a political fight. They need to be rounded up. And we're going to take a break here, but to what Elon just said there, these people pushing this propaganda, they need to be found. If they can't be arrested for any kind of crime, they need to be civilly sued. If I were Elon Musk, or if I were a Tesla dealership, a franchise that owned a dealership that had vandalism committed on me, I would go after every single journalist that spread this garbage about Elon Musk, and I would sue them until their families are broke. That's what I would do, because I just wouldn't tolerate it. Now, maybe that's going to happen. Musk seems to think that the DOJ is getting on this, and I have no doubt that they are. God knows Pam Bondi has made no secret of the fact that she's going to pursue every single person that touches a Tesla, whether it's on a dealership's lot or in somebody's front yard. They're going to go to prison for it. And I hope she's true to that. I think she will be. Okay, listen, we have to take a quick break. We come back on the other side of it. We've got a lot more to get to. I just want to remind you, you can find us on Rumble. You can find us on X, of course, on X America News. Don't forget, we're now on Truth Social. We're also on Facebook. xamericanews.com is our brand new website. So you can find our mothership station there, and you can find all of the wonderful shows on X America News on that page. All right. All right. Let's take a break. We come back. We've got more clips. I won't get into some more of Elon and some of this interview he did with Bret Baier. And also, we'll take your comments. If you want to weigh in, want to say anything in the comment section, no matter where you are, we've got people perusing those comments, and we will bring them on the program. We'll read your comments on the air if they are of, if they're worth a damn. So make sure they are. You're watching The Right Hook. I am Steve Hook, and we will be back right after this.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard My Pillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use My Pillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all My Pillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard My Pillows absolutely free.
There you go. Thank you, Mike Lindell. Yes, use that promo code and call that number, 1-800-749-7098. 1-800-749-7098. Include the promo code HOOK and save up to an additional 80% on all products. And you heard Mike just there, man. You get $100 or more, you're going to get 2 free standard My Pillows for nothing. So that's good. Say you want to buy your son or daughter some brand new Giza bed sheets, and maybe you want to buy him some slippers or something. Maybe you even want to buy your dog a brand new dog bed. You can buy all of that, and then guess what? You get the bonus of 2 standard My Pillows, and nobody has to be the wiser. You keep them for yourself. So it's a good deal. 1-800-749-7098, promo code HOOK. Go do that now. It's well worth it. Let's see. We've got a comment here from Bernie. I love this one. If they exercise, talking about these people that are damaging Teslas and whatnot, if they exercise their First Amendment rights by damaging your Tesla, then exercise your Second Amendment rights as a response. I think I hear where you're coming from there. I don't know that I would shoot to kill somebody that was keying my car, but I might scare the living hell out of him with some salt shot or something. I don't know, but good point. Good point, Bernie. Yeah, these people are all just absolutely ridiculous. Now, as this interview went forward, that, of course, that first clip was just standalone Elon, but he did bring on the DOGE team as well a little bit later in the interview. And Elon explains that DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency, is probably the biggest revolution in the United States since the original revolution that made us the United States. Cut 2, go.
Is the battle between government of decades and decades of buildup and business, which you guys are, is that like a train hitting each other? I mean, it seems like it's pretty disruptive.
Well, this is a revolution, and I think it might be the biggest revolution in government since the original revolution. But at the end of the day, America is going to be in much better shape. America will be solvent. The critical programs that people depend upon will work. And it's going to be a fantastic future. But are we going to get a lot of complaints along the way? Absolutely. You know, one of the things I learned at PayPal was you know who complains the loudest and with the most amount of fake righteous indignation? The fraudsters. It's a tell. There's some of these NGOs that are crazy, like the $2 billion to Stacey Abrams' NGO that basically didn't exist and suddenly gets $2 billion awarded from the federal government. Why? And there are many such cases like that.
I think that most people, common sense-wise, would say the fraud's got to end.
Yeah.
They're concerned about the 94-year-old mother who skips a check or somehow doesn't get what she's supposed to get.
Right. And what we're trying to say is actually that the 94-year-old grandmother is actually, as a result of DOGE's work, going to get her check. She's not going to be robbed by fraudsters like she's getting robbed today. And the solvency of the federal government will ensure that she continues to receive the Social Security checks, that Medicare continues to work, without which we're all doomed. The reason we're doing this is because if we don't do it, America's going to go insolvent, we're going to go bankrupt, and nobody's going to get anything.
Yeah, nobody's going to get anything. Now, you'll notice all these people that are calling Elon, and for that matter, Trump, Hitler. When you put it to them, well, why? Why would you call him fascistic in any way? They can't answer that. They don't have an answer because there is no answer, because neither one of them are fascistic in any way. I mean, the last I checked, fascists don't try and shrink the size and scope of the federal government. It's kind of not their MO, you know, over the course of, I don't know, all of human history. Since fascist really became a thing, Mussolini invented fascism as we know it today. Did Mussolini ever try and shrink the size of federal government? No, he didn't. Did Hitler ever try and save his citizens money? No, of course not. He stole from his, especially Jewish citizens. So this is all garbage. These people are fools that badmouth Elon Musk and DOGE. Now, like I said, there's some things about Elon Musk that we may agree that we don't necessarily like. Some people, raise hell about the way he's handling X. Okay, whatever. But X, you need to understand, is still more valuable today than when he bought it. The exact opposite of what they said was going to happen has happened. It was evaluated last week at worth over $44 billion. That's worth more than it ever was worth when Jack Dorsey was running the show. So you'll pardon me if I just laugh in the face of these people, because they are truly, truly unbelievably ignorant. But when you run on emotion, when you run on hate, when you run on just idiotic, liberal think, you're likely to believe anything that cast anyone that you disagree with in a negative light. You're going to believe it all. You could say Elon Musk killed 20 puppies yesterday, and these people would believe it. They would believe it wholeheartedly, because that's how gone they are. They have no critical thinking skills left. I think that's a prerequisite before you become a card-carrying liberal these days, is you have to check your critical thinking skills at the door. You're not allowed to bring them in with you, I guess. But that's how they are. Now, Musk also points out fraudsters. Oh, you're concerned about the 94-year-old grandmother getting her Social Security check. Elon's not trying to steal it from her, but the fraudsters are. The ones that are raising the most hell. Mostly politicians, if we're honest. Speaking of which, I've got an Elizabeth Warren clip. This is another. Now I want you to look at the way Elizabeth Warren panders to people in order to puff up the hate. Elizabeth Warren, cut 4.
Pete Hegseth, Trump's Secretary of Defense, texted a reporter U.S. war plans to bomb Yemen. He texted the times of the future attacks, the specific targets, and a lot of other sensitive military information. When the reporter received it, he actually thought he was being scammed. That's how unbelievable this is. He believed that until bombs were actually dropped in Yemen. Now, Hegseth denied this even happened. Well, I hate to break it to him, but his own White House had already confirmed, yeah, that was true. Trump needs to fire Pete Hegseth right now. But accountability doesn't stop there. There needs to be a criminal investigation into what happened. We need public hearings, and we need our national security officials to protect our most sensitive military secrets. Look, for all we know, there are other classified national security conversations happening over random group chats. Our national security is in the hands of complete amateurs. We need to get rid of those guys and bring in some people who know what they're doing.
People like who? People like who? Senator Pocahontas? Somebody needs to do a criminal investigation on you. Why are you worth $86 million? What did you do to garner that kind of money? We need to open an investigation on Elizabeth Warren. And why is it they're going after Pete Hegseth? Pete Hegseth did not put together the list of people that were going to be participating in this group chat. You know who did that? Mike Waltz. He admitted it. He said, that was my screw up. I take responsibility. But they're going after Hegseth. They're going after Hegseth because Hegseth is the one they fear the most. Pete Hegseth is the outsider that has stepped into the role of Secretary of Defense, and they can't stand it. How about Lloyd Austin, Elizabeth Warren? Should we investigate him? Should we investigate him? I mean, he went AWOL, was in the hospital in critical condition, and the President Otto Penn didn't even know about it. And then his number 2 was on vacation in the Caribbean while Lloyd Austin was in the hospital in under critical care. And nobody inside the White House, apparently, at least Otto Penn didn't know, had any clue about it. Should they be investigated? Yes, they should have. Not that Merrick Garland ever would have investigated them, mind you, but yes, they should have been investigated. And concerning Yemen and the Houthis, how many Americans were shot at during this mission, that the war plans, quote unquote, that were leaked. Not one American jet was even fired upon. Nobody was injured, except for Houthis. A whole bunch of them are now dead. But nobody in the American armed forces was injured at all. Was it a mistake? Admittedly, it was a mistake. But Democrats, as always, trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. They didn't say a damn thing, and for that matter, neither did the media, when 13 U.S. servicemen and women were blown to bits at Abbey Gate during the surrender of Kabul. They didn't say a damn thing about that. They didn't say a thing when Afghanis clinging to an aircraft in hopes of getting away from the Taliban were flung off at about 4,000 feet and fell to their deaths. Nobody, at least not Elizabeth Warren, said a damn thing about that. No, it's just, this happens. This kind of stuff happens. But they want Pete Hegseth. By the way, Annie, I sent you that photo. Pete Hegseth has a new tattoo. This is driving him nuts. Look at that tattoo. Annie, you got a second? Can you open your mic? Okay, she's going to open her mic and we're going to talk to her about this tattoo because I think that Annie's in love. I think Annie might be in love. Are you there, Annie?
Oh, I'm in love. I am in love. Yes. That tattoo says so. I can write a book about that tattoo on his arm.
Okay, show that tattoo again.
Hold on. Let me bring it back up. I am much slower when I'm not very good at multitasking. Here we go. There he is.
There it is. Okay, now this tattoo that you're looking at, it's an Arabic script. What does that say?
In Arabic, it says kafir.
Kafir. Kafir, I think, right? Kafir.
Yes, that's more Americanized pronunciation is kafir. Here they say kafir, but yes, kafir or kafir, same thing.
Okay, and what does that mean?
So, kafir means an infidel.
An infidel, a non-believer in Islam.
Well, that's the thing, though. No, it is way more than a non-believer. Kafir comes from an Arabic word kufr. Kufr is not just when you don't believe. Kufr, when you do commit kufr and become a kafir, is when you are committing the unforgivable sin, when you are filthy, when you're committing 7 deadly sins, then you're a kafir. It's not just you don't believe. No, you are a sinner. And more specifically, Christians are called infidels mainly because we believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, because we believe in Trinity. And in the Quran itself says, do not say the 3 being Trinity if you consider yourself a believer. Because we say Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and because we believe Jesus Christ is the Son of God, we are kafirs, or also known as infidels. We are the ultimate sin.
Yeah. So basically what Hegseth is saying with this tattoo is go F yourselves to the people that would kill people based upon their beliefs, essentially, right?
Absolutely. And that one of very accurate translation of this tattoo by the media was when they said he is announcing with this tattoo that he is an enemy of Islam. That is accurate. And that is why I'm in love with this man. I love that he gets it. I love that he understands putting that tattoo on his arm isn't just some sort of southern move of a tough boy, but it is standing for his Christian values. It is defending his belief, and it is telling the enemies of Christ that I am not afraid of you. Oh boy, it's amazing.
And he really is in love with this guy. Look at that tattoo. Now, and by the way, he's got many tattoos on his body, as you can see there. There's a cross on the forearm. He's got others on his chest. He is a devout Christian, and he doesn't mind who knows it. And the media just hates him for this. They absolutely despise Pete Hegseth for not just this tattoo, but this tattoo is just kind of the cherry on top. And this is one of the main reasons they despise the man, correct?
Absolutely. Here's the thing. that tattoo, as I said, I can write a book about this tattoo. Because when it's first of all, it's weird. I know I shouldn't say this probably on air, but I will. I have always been fascinated with tattoos. I have like 8 of them myself. But it's that of some people do it just to do it, but some people like Pete, it's an statement.
Yeah.
It's not just it looks pretty. Let me get a color butterfly on the back of my ear thing. It's a statement. This man has been through it. He has served our country in combat, and he has looked these people in the eye. And that's why they hate him, because they know he's not going to sit there and listen to some advisor or some right or left wing telling him what to do, how to do. He has walked through that fire to know what he needs to do. And the left is terrified of those in power who are aware of dangers but not afraid of the dangers. That's why they hate him so much.
Yeah, you're right. And he is an outsider, and he wears the kafir tattoo literally on his arm, and as well as his Christian beliefs. They can't stand that. Now, of course they'll rally around a former student at Columbia who shouldn't even be here because he's no longer a student. We're talking about Mahmoud Khalil here. Mahmoud Khalil will go on campus and tell everybody from the river to the sea. And I've seen one of these Fox News on the street beat reporters asking some of these students, do you know what that even means? Most of them have no clue what it means. And then they're informed, well, it means the eradication of Israel and the death of all Jews. And then they're like, oh, I didn't know that. That's because you're a moron. That's why. I mean, that's why you're from the river to the sea means the death of Israel is what it means. And they can't. So they'll rally around Mahmoud Khalil, but they're going to try and destroy Pete Hegseth. I mean, good God.
Can I add news to what you just said? I don't know if you've seen this, Steve, or not, but so information of the October 7th lawsuit has been released. And I know majority of Americans are more looking into, rightfully so, into the Epstein file and JFK files. But guess what? The October 7th lawsuit files are released. Shouldn't be laughing. Part of it has an absolutely tragically amazing information, and it goes as follows, Steve. Get ready.
Yeah.
One of the freed hostages has testified that their captive, the Hamas person who was keeping them, has shown them pictures of the students in America at universities protesting, and has pointed out that these are our active soldiers.
Yeah. It's outrageous. And by the way, Hamas was funding a lot of this too, weren't they?
Exactly. That's the thing. When your statement is, these are our people, these are our soldiers, that means not only they take orders from Hamas, but they are also being funded by Hamas, who is being funded by IRGC and Hezbollah. Look, they're all tied into one thing, and at the end of it is that very book they call holy and we call Quran, and Pete knows what's in that book. That's why he gets that tattoo. Because in that very book, people like him, me, and you shall be either converted or beheaded. Yeah.
By the way, Annie, I hate to tell you this, but Pete Hegseth is happily married. I know that's.
Oh, thanks so much for ruining my day. Ugh.
Well, I think now that you're on, and I'm glad that you are on with us just a little bit here. You're an Iranian, Christian Iranian. What do you think about what's going on over there right now? And do you still have family in Iran?
Yes, I do have family members in Iran. Very few of them left. Most of them, believe it or not, are rest in peace sentence now. Yeah. I do have families. However, I have no ties to them one way or another, either for their safety or for the disagreement with my lifestyle. I've been, boycotted pretty much. I don't have any contact with them. What do I think about what's happening in Iran? Inside Iran, I know the regime is pretty terrified to make a wrong move because they know the people of Iran are standing by to start the next uprising. And this is proven because last Thursday when Iranian New Year, Nowruz, was happening, close to 7,000 Iranians gathered in front of Cyrus the Great's tomb to celebrate Nowruz, and they faced no objection by the regime, which has never happened in the history of last 47 years. Regime allowed them to do it. So they're very terrified of people of Iran getting back on the streets and gaining any kind of support from either Israel or America. On the other hand, I know the Supreme Leader of Iran is kind of sort of coming to a negotiation table with Trump per the offer he received. It's one of the three options for Trump administration. As you know, I disagree with the first pick, but I know you agree with diplomacy. I just don't think there's any negotiation with these evil people because they have proven in last 47 years they'll never hold their end of the deal anyway, so what's the point? However, I'm hoping that you are right per our discussion off air, and they're going to try to disobey any of the terms of negotiation, and we go back to square one, and that is hopefully, Lord willing, President Trump will have a sit down with our Prince Pahlavi, the son of the late King of Iran, who has announced officially he's ready to take temporary power of Iran until people of Iran decide what they want to do with the country. So I'm hoping President Trump will also give him a chance for a sit down in front of that famous fireplace and at least let the mullahs shake a little bit, knowing there's another option to replace them that is being taken serious.
I think that Trump, Annie and I, she made mention of what we had discussed off air. Annie, and I don't blame you at all for this. She's like, I don't think she should ever negotiate with him. Annie, I'll tell you this. I don't think diplomacy with the mullahs is going to amount to a hill of beans. I'm with you on that. I think that a lot of what the reason President Trump is offering this carrot, if you will, as opposed to the stick first, is more for domestic politics here in the U.S. More to keep the liberals at bay and more to keep the media quiet. But I'm curious to know what's going on behind the scenes. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if that meeting that you were just talking about with the son of the former Shah doesn't happen. I don't know if it'll happen in public, but I do know that Trump has made it abundantly clear that he was very much a supporter of the Green Revolution inside Iran. This, of course, is the one that Obama completely ignored as people were getting mowed down in the streets. And Obama effectively told them, you guys should just shut up, sit down, and go home. I don't think Trump's going to take that approach.
Well, no, that's definitely not going to happen. And as far as the behind the scene, I do believe President Trump is very well aware of the dangers of this regime. Yeah. I do know he has people like Pete to tell him exactly what's going on over there. Now, one person brought up another possibility, which I agreed with, and I said I'm willing to wait for another week or two, but he's also trying to establish the ceasefire and the quietness of Ukraine versus Russia. There are so many fronts one president can get under control. So, yes, there are many different angles to be considered. And I will admit, as an Iranian American, I am being a little impatient with this scenario. I am actually releasing a video this afternoon on X America News, reaching to all our fellow Americans to get that video to President Trump one way or another. I will be begging him on that video to have a sit down with our Prince Pahlavi, just a sit down, nothing more than that. But I do really, really hope, Steve, it does happen, because we know Prince Pahlavi has had almost 42 years to have a plan. We know he has a plan, and we trust his plan. And we want this to happen before our queen, who is still alive. She's an amazing woman, brilliant, fluent in 7 languages, very well educated. She helped the king build Iran as what you saw in the late 60s and early 70s, looking like, oh, is this LA or is it Tehran? So we would love to have her back, helping rebuild the country. But all that being said, I understand most of the votes for President Trump for America first, not Iran first. So I will, as a proud American, I will continue patiently waiting for America first, but I will continue praying that he will change his mind on the offer, take the offer away, and just go at Iran either through Prince Pahlavi or a strike. I said it earlier today on another program. I guarantee you, striking Iran militarily is not going to create World War III. It's not going to take more than a day because people of Iran and military of Iran will side with our military and help them finish it in a day. On that note, I know you got to go to your last ad break, but we have a comment from Anne from X saying, who doesn't love him being Pete? And as we just said, those who don't love him are those we can't stand, but I agree with you. I'm going to close my comment. Thanks for bringing me on, Steve.
Let me just ask you one more quick question before we let you go.
Go for it.
The people of Iran, you just mentioned this. Where do they stand? Where do they're very pro-West, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, day after the inauguration, on January 21st, there was a picture that came out on the Iranian side of X, and I actually grabbed it and posted it too. There was a huge wall in Tehran with a giant, I'm going to say probably 8 by 10 foot banner, a picture of Trump, and on it, in Farsi and English, was written, Mr. President, please come and make Iran great again.
There you go. Well,
this is where people of Iran, I'm going to tell you 10% of average population, not those with ties to the regime and government. Average population, about 10% are still pro-regime because they think if they're not, they're going to burn in hell. The complete brainwashed group. The rest of the population are done. Completely done with this regime. One way or another, free us. Either send the prince, send the Israeli bombs. We don't care. Just kill these people and set us free. That's where they're at. They have, since the Green Revolution in 2009, people of Iran have marched the streets of Tehran and in cross country of Iran with banners on their hands asking for U.S. military to come in. Again, mind you, Steve, American people have this mindset, rightfully so, that look what happened in Iraq, look what happened in Afghanistan. As an Iranian who is in contact with my fellow Iranians on a daily basis, on a phone call of WhatsApp and Telegram, I am telling you, majority of my people are begging us to go in. They're not going to fight us. They're not going to hate us. They're not going to kill us. They're going to cooperate with our military. They're going to make it fast. And they already come from an educated background, history, and heritage that will easily assimilate back to the Iran of before revolution.
Yeah, of the early 70s. Well, there you go. Well, Annie Cyrus, thank you so much. I think it's very telling also that you mentioned the fact that the mullahs allowed this gathering for the Iranian New Year. That tells you that they're nervous. If they're allowing things that they heretofore had not allowed, it's because they don't want to fan the flames anymore than they already have, but it may be too late for them. Annie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Okay, as she mentioned, we do have to take a quick break, but don't worry about it. We've got more, and we'll do that on The Right Hook right after this.
Well, hello, everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure, for at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com.
And there you go. You heard Annie before we went to break. Then we go to break, and there's Annie right there. Lovely Annie Cyrus. Not only is she an absolute brilliant producer and a great commentator, obviously, but she's quite the artist. Go to lutfstudio.com and look at all the artwork there. It's all one of a kind, all made by hand by the lovely Annie Cyrus. And then you can hang it on your wall and say, I have an Annie original. lutfstudio.com. That's Live Up to Freedom. That's how you can remember that. An acronym, just lutfstudio.com. And by the way, make sure you use the promo code RightHook, and Annie will give you an extra discount. So, and there's some great stuff on that site. So go check it out. Okay. Okay. We've got, just about 5 minutes. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's do our last clip. This is, speaking of Iranians, and I know that Annie's going to hate me for saying that. Christine Amanpour, she's a clown. She's of Iranian descent, but that, whatever. There's clowns everywhere. She's one of them. And in the last couple of days, we've been hearing a lot in the congressional halls about defunding PBS and NPR. Well, anybody that would employ Christine Amanpour should have their funding pulled, because she's a hack and she's not a journalist. But this is Christine Amanpour talking about, well, this is why NPR and PBS needs to be defunded. You'll figure it out. Cut 5, go.
Now, Trump's America has started to challenge and redefine academic freedom, and our next guest is sounding the alarm. Yale professor Jason Stanley is the author of Erasing History: How Fascists Rewrite the Past to Control the Future. And he joins Michelle Martin now to discuss how new teaching guidelines are stoking a culture of fear and why he's taking drastic measures as a result.
Thanks, Christiane. Professor Jason Stanley, thanks so much for talking with us once again.
Thank you, Michelle. It's great to be in conversation in this existential time.
So you've been thinking about and writing about authoritarianism for quite a while. You recently wrote a piece for The Guardian in which you said that President Trump is leading the country down the path of educational authoritarianism. What does that mean?
That means that he's creating a culture of fear in universities. They already have done this in states like Florida, creating a culture of fear in K through 12 education.
Okay, first of all, this guy's a clown. His book, How Fascists Want to Rewrite History. Was it fascists who were ripping down statues the last 5 years of dead Democrats? Were those fascist? I mean, it was no doubt that was fascistic tactics, ripping down statues that had been in place for years and years and years. Again, all of them dead Democrats, Confederate generals and whatnot. But the point is, and he mentions, Florida, it's happening in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis says you're not going to be able to push porn, gay porn, or any other kind of porn, pedophilia porn, in public schools. To that guy, that is a fascistic thing to stop. They have no problem with fascists taking over the college campuses and university campuses across the fruited plain, provided they're shouting out against Israel. You see, like fascists would, right? That's who the fascists are here, buddy. You're nothing but a liberal clown. But go ahead, keep on with the clip.
Education. But authoritarianism requires a culture of fear. It requires feeling like the state is always looking over your shoulder, feeling like there are vague rules that you can be punished for, and your fellow citizens have been empowered to report you. That's the first thing it means. The second thing it means is that there's an official state ideology. And if you violate the official state ideology, you get in trouble.
What sparked your latest piece.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't have time to finish the rest of this. This guy is so foolish because the way you see, this is what they do on the left, folks. They live in an alternative universe. To them, it's fascistic for parents to know that their kids are being transitioned in a public school without the parental consent. If parents want to know that, it's only because they're Nazis, you see. That's the way this guy thinks. And that's the way they all think. Let me just say, to the higher education and to the K through 12 public school system, they should be scared. Not because of what Trump is going to do, but because of what a parent will do, what parents are doing. You know, he says that this is fascistic. Who was it who wrote a memo to the FBI and said parents might be considered domestic terrorists for showing up at school boards? That would have been the FBI under the Joe Biden administration and Merrick Garland. That is fascistic. When you say, keep the parents in the dark. Don't let them know what their kids are being taught. Don't let the parents know that their kids want to be called, Frank instead of their given name Jennifer, or vice versa. This is what they do. And when you threaten to take away their power over your children, all of a sudden you're Hitler. Now, if your children are screaming from the river to the sea, they're good little First Amendment rights activists, right? But anybody that stands up and says, hey, this is hate speech, well, now that is fascistic. This is the kind of alternative reality that the left lives in. And it's important that we all understand this, they despise the United States of America. They really do. They despise why it was founded. They despise the founders. They despise the people that admire it. It's a pretty telling event that I have an American flag behind me right now. To them, that is a quote unquote dog whistle that means I'm a fascist. That's how far the left have sunk in this country. It's pretty pathetic, but it's who they are. They haven't learned a lesson. Their numbers are dropping. And by the way, after that little broadcast on PBS yesterday, I say strip all of their funding. Let Big Bird go feed himself. Enough. Anyway, listen, that's going to do it for The Right Hook today. I want to thank you for joining us today and to remind you that we'll be back next Wednesday, once again, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday and every Friday. And again, go bookmark xamericanews.com. Find us on all the other social and the media sites. And we look forward to seeing you then. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Hook saying goodbye.